Welcome to Devlog number 1. I have been working on the game for a while at this point, but I'm getting ready to do an update to Unity6 and starting to try to focus some more on the software aside from just the hardware, which I've been doing for a while. So I figure I'll give it a go and see if this interests anybody or not. I've got the store page up right here, little trailers and screenshots from the game. So this is a mixed reality zombie shooter that I've been working on for a while. So you'll see the real houses here outside the windows. You've got a virtual environment there. And so for day one here, I'm just going to walk through some of the vetting that I've been doing on Unity6 and a lot of the optimizations there, and hopefully give you an overview of mixed reality setup as well, some issues I'd ran into before that I had trouble with that Meta and Unity have gotten resolved now, and just see what questions people might have. So to start out, I started with the concurrent hands and controllers example for Multimodal, and then I made some updates after I saw that that was working. So I have a scene here called init that I saved that as and I've been making changes, and I'm going to run through some changes here and also show you an editor with play mode why and what I've done. So on each of the hands there is an option here of when to show. So step one, I went and set that to always, and I'm going to hit play mode here and show you an editor why that is. But for what I'm doing, I do both software and hardware, as I'm trying to have as immersive of a zombie shooting setup as I can. And so I have custom controller hardware I've been working on as well that uses the controllers as a tracked controller. And so you'll see right here when you look in editor that I can pick up my controller here, I can sit that down and move my hands here. The controller, which I have inside of a weapon, stays there, which means a control scheme of if you're here, you're shooting the zombies with your controller, you might go holster this over at your side, do something with your hands where your weapon's there, the zombies come, pick your weapon up, and you're able to engage. And so that always setting had not worked, and this is the first time I've ever seen it work. And so in the previous SDK setup there was nothing. Another thing that might be obvious if you've played with MRUK here, I'm using the nice little cutout feature that they have there. So underneath MRUK effect mesh, I've got underneath labels door and window frame don't have checks, and under cut I have door and window, which means there's holes cut here for the doors and the windows, and that all just automatically happens. You can see the scan on this headset's a bit janked. I really need to rescan it. That's why it looks all yucky there. But we've got our part of the house here all mapped out. And so those were two of the initial tests. The other that I wanted to check, so I just came from GDC last week and talking to Meta and Unity, along with, you'll see a pop-up now in Unity, they recommend OpenXR and not Oculus as your backend. So I went through and, oh, yes, so I do need to remove that. I thought I really had all of these cleared with no yelling stuff at me the other day. I guess I still need to go through that some. Yes. And underneath OpenXR, we have all of our fun little features enabled here. The other part that I wanted to make sure was working at this point was that I had pass-through and the scene setup both working in editor under OpenXR. And so I'm not using the AR core integration stuff here because I've already got a lot of my existing logic tied in MRUK, and it has a lot of extra helper methods that just make this easier, plus there aren't really any good headsets aside from the Meta stuff in my opinion at this point that I do mixed reality on. But in headset here I can see the pass-through correctly. It imported the room. So in editor with a nice quick startup time, hit and play, all of this was working. And that is really phase one that I had of what I wanted for sign off, like, okay, working with Unity6 on this, because I had everything set up in, I think 2022, one of those versions of Unity, so I can really do proper multimodal as opposed to what I was doing before is extremely exciting. The stuff I'm going to be trying out in the next dev update is trying to get some of the pass-through relating working. The examples that I tried in here were not working for me, and I really do want to be able to do low light with flashlight for the zombies because it'd be super cool, and I've never seen like mixed reality with that type of immersion with the zombies in low light pulled off really at all. So I'm hoping that with Unity6 and the new optimizations of GPU occlusion culling, then I'm going to be able to hit the performance targets and keep my full 70 or higher FPS running for that. I have not yet in this project really imported almost any of my assets from the real one and the real project. At this point, I've just been trying to sign off all that functionality. Is it even worth the headaches and the work upgrading at this point here? One of the other things pushing me to this, my startup time from hitting the play button in the previous project was like 45 seconds. Maddening, making it just a horrible mental hiccup every time I went to test anything. And so seeing this have a nice quick startup is a great sanity fix over what I was seeing. Thanks for joining me for video 1. Leave any questions you have down in the comments section, and I'll also have links to the game and the Discord supporting it, along with the YouTube channel that's more focused on the game after it's been built than the process of building it. So, thanks again. Bye.